himself will be given the opportunity to rule this country. And we are moving from one constitution, one type of democracy to another, the Westminster system. And even how they are going to choose, because at the end of the day, it is he knows very well that his party is the party of majority seats in parliament. His party controls everything. And in line with the changes, the MPs are now expected to vote, to choose the president, not the entire population or the people. It's when you limit it that way, you are telling people that power does not belong to the people. This is not to say that a functional parliamentary democracy is not good. No, it is good. It is good. For example, the one practiced in England, the Westminster system, is good because over there, they make sure we are dealing with people who understand the dynamics of democratic governance. Yep. And they make sure that the MPs are not damned. They are people who can change, who can even vote against their own parties based on their love for the country. So, and this is a very strong democracy, you see. So elsewhere, if it is allowed to function very well, it is good. Parliamentary democracy or Westminster system is good. But in a situation where one man controls everything, I strongly believe that that kind of parliamentary system is bad for the people of Togo. Because I am happy about the proactiveness of Ecowas, I don't want to speak much. I'm only urging Ecowas to ensure that these tactics of constitutional dictatorship, the emerging constitutional authoritarianism, should not succeed in Togo. If there is anything at all, they should not wait, and I'm referring to ECOWAS. The leaders of ECOWAS should not wait for Togo to be thrown into another fire before they wake up. Now that they have decided to speak to that Togolese strongman, I strongly believe that they should do everything possible to ensure that that issue is solved amicably. Another word to the people of Togo, I'm begging them, nous voulons la paix. Nous ne voulons pas la guerre. We want peace. We don't want war. Let this one not be an opportunity for the army to disrupt constitutional order. And let the people also sustain the protest and rise against any form of constitutional dictatorship. God bless Togo. God bless Africa. God bless all of us.
Thank you very much, Dr. Marzulli. I will come to you, Solo, but...
Dr. His wife had no chance. Did you hear the lyrics?
You're yummy, your wife, eh?
The French was not easy.
So, underpinning the difficulty of absolute involvement of ECOWAS lies in its belly the issue of sovereignty. And clearly, you can comment to an extent, but you cannot take a drastic action in resolving the impasse between the president and the people. So that's a factor that we must also consider in your analysis. And I think it's important you said that.
Yeah, sure.
Dr. Marzouk also made a very valid point, but in relation to the non-tolerance of military takeovers or coup d'etats. But it must not also be lost on us that there is some, and I call it the distributory effect, because it flows into the channel, that if you do not listen to the plight of the people, if you create a constitutional dictatorship or a democratic, how do you call it, democratic tyranny,
constitutional tyranny,
you invariably invite or invoke the intervention of the military, even if they originally would not. So I think that there's a symbiotic relationship between democratic tyranny and coup d'etat.
Yeah.
Because if you are being if you are a democratic tyranny, if you are practicing democratic tyranny, that's what I would tell you. If you're practicing a democratic tyranny, then we can also now also practice a military coup d'etat.
Yes.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, of course.
Well, you are right. let me greet the people of Ejoso for deciding not to vote for the MPP, but rather repose their confidence in Owusu Aduomi as an independent candidate. You have decided to shun money, but in any case, when they bring the money, take it. The state funds, it's not for them, that you have to take it. The truth of the matter is that Ford Assembly must not lead the people of Togo into temptation and deliver them from evil. You see, you rightly said, Ecowas, they are toothless. They use the peer review mechanism, you understand? We are all sitting on one table. We all know that we must abide by the tenets of democratic principles. And so what is not good for A must not be good for B. But you see, the reason why I always speak against military takeovers is that if you look at the architecture of every government, the military somewhat is very much involved. For instance, if you come to Ghana, the president appoints the Minister of Defense. Is that okay?
Sure.
Now, it is even the president that appoints the Chief of Defense Staff. Is that not the case? So, if a president appoints the Minister of Defense and appoints the Chief of Defense Staff, these people are the supervisors of the military. And so they can, at all material time, advise the president on what and what not the military can take. So at all material times, what sort of advice do these ministers and Chief of Defense Staff give to their presidents before they go ahead to embark on certain policies? You understand? The constitutional change in Togo, what sort of advice has been given by the Minister of Defense in Togo to Foreign Assembly? Is he also part of the strategy that, hey, because at the end of the day, when Foreign Assembly goes, don't forget, he is not going alone. He goes with a community, people occupying positions. So everyone is protecting his or her interests, and they don't care about the larger population. And that is why I don't always want to take out the military. If indeed, at this stage, those of us sitting in Ghana have even identified or seen that trouble is looming, how about those military personnel who are in the government and advising the Foreign Assembly? Are they not seeing the danger ahead?
Yes.
But yet they are sitting aloof, encouraging him to go ahead. Mind you, he cannot do all these things without the backing of his those stomach politicians, political entrepreneurs, I call them. Yes. You understand? Selfish interest. And that is why you cannot take them out. See, for you to say presidents will be elected only by parliamentarians, it's just to say you are buying the elections. Africa, can you imagine those of us in Ghana being told that our president will be elected by our parliamentarians? These parliamentarians,
the ones who approved how Akumsen.
What is fish farming? The lady to, are you asking me? Are you asking? You are there, you are being asking, are you asking me? You think we are joking here? These parliamentarians.
The ones who approved Kenofurata.
Yeah. When we are petitioning parliament, he went to the US and he was enjoying.
They created an office
and they were sharing.
They created an office as Kempiski.
You know that.
I know.
People were taking emblems. No, people fought in this country that do not approve, what do you call it? Kenofurata.
Yeah.
He got an overwhelming. Brian the Chapo had led people to beat people at Ayawa, so he got an overwhelming endorsement.
Akumsen was the highest.
This country. So Togo. You see how
and you know, when we had the hand parliament, Amma Pratt was so happy. Finally,
not her alone.
Accountability.
A lot of people were happy.
Then the first appointment. Oh my goodness! So this business as usual.
In fact, Ghanaians rather voted for parliamentarians to be rich.
Yeah.
Because with the hang parliament, every member mattered.
Yeah.
So they have really enjoyed themselves. And so that is the angle. Nobody in Africa will have that confidence in this parliamentary system where you want to use parliamentarians to elect a president. Now, you say laws do not take retrospective effect. Is that not the case? So what Fon Asingbe wants to do is to start afresh 8 years. Because now is a 2-term limit. So that it will add to the already 90 years, or the number of years he has spent on the throne, to perpetuate. And all these years, he wants to use it to prepare a successor.
Oh, absolutely.
From the family. And the last time we were saying that the Olympio family is also not happy. Because this whole battle in Togo started with their father and that of Ford's father. You want to entrench yourself on the seat, it's not going to happen. But in all this is where no action talk only must cease in Africa. Ecowas leader, though you do not have that muscle, you must put pressure on Ford not to destroy Togo. Because when Togo destroys, Ghana is, we don't even have electricity they are enjoying from here. So the human beings will come here to come and add up to the 14.7% unemployment, and where would you go to? And so we must act. I wish them the best of luck. I wish for Nasingwe to experience a dream that will change the course of Togo.
Very well. Well, thank you very much, Solomon Owusu. Let me come to Uncle Alex on this subject matter.
Before you come to Uncle Alex,
all right.
You've mentioned sovereignty.
Yeah.
Yes, I spoke to experts of international relations and diplomacy, and they are of the view that in contemporary international relations and diplomacy, sovereignty is highly contextualized. It's subject to ceding your portion of sovereignty to global institutions and then regional institutions. For example, all Ecowas members must agree to cede a substantial portion of their sovereignty to Ecowas, so that when it matters, Ecowas can decide for them, or AU can decide for them. I just wanted to put on record so that we will not be harassed by the tyranny of sovereignty itself. Sovereignty is not absolute; it is subject to the regional institutions.
Okay. Let me come to Uncle Alex.
I just want to indicate that we haven't mentioned the elephant in the room, which is France.
Sure.
You see,
I like it. Yes.
all this we are talking about, how was Nyasingbe Iyadema able to stay all those years? Yes. And his son take over and continue?
Yes.
Without France not being interested in what is happening? Yes. It won't happen. No. And you will notice, very interestingly, that all the places where there were coup d'etats in Francophone countries, the military people who took over received their training from the United States of America, not France.
Yes, that's true.
They got their training from the United States of America. But in Togo, they be there. France is totally in control. So we can talk, but if they are happy with the puppet master, they are not going to allow anybody to change it. They will just find ways to help him perpetrate his rule, unless there's maximum pressure brought to bear. And ECOWAS is learning. Why do I say that? Yeah. When those three countries realize that we are dealing with people who seem to be, their strings seem to be pulled elsewhere, they all left ECOWAS. Those three countries have left ECOWAS. Yeah. So ECOWAS, if it doesn't wake up and start standing up for the rights of African countries, will be a shadow of itself in a short space of time. It's already tottering. So it is not in their interest to allow Togo for something to happen in Togo, for Togo to then tell them also that, hey, you people, we have left you. So they have to speak in the way they have spoken, and they should ensure, because the way he's going, anything is possible in Togo. You cannot continue. And why isn't France? If France puts pressure on him, he will have to have a democratic election. So why not? So France is the key. And after what has happened in those other 3 countries, they should learn that if they are not careful, they will lose control to the Russians and possibly the Chinese of countries that were supposed to be their colonies. A word to the wise is in Anyako. So they should quickly ensure that this undemocratic, why? France, you do elections. Your people have voted in and out. Why don't you want another country to have elections? Fair, free and fair. Why? Why isn't there term limit on presidency? You put term limit, now the person is trying to find a way to not do a system again. No. France simply has to say, we can't allow you on this occasion. We need change. It's the dynasty. You've had your fun. The money you have made, come and sit down in a villa in France and enjoy. Nobody's going to chase you. Nobody's going to worry you. But leave it for open elections. Exactly. That's all. So me, the key is not even Ecowas or even the people of Togo. It's France. If nobody wants to say it, then we might as well stop talking. Because they are the ones who are going to be able to make a difference in Togo. And it behoves them, bearing in mind that we know that they are democratically instilled nation. They are the ones who, anytime there's a coup d'etat in the Francophone countries, they are used. The target is always there. And it's not helping them internationally. For once, they should get involved in Togo and say, okay, enough is enough. Let them have their democracy. And by the way, the money we have been taking from you that is in our account, here it is. Our bank, we won't keep the money anymore.
Ain't gonna happen.
So this is why I'm saying that it is deeper than, what's it called? Just simply, as we see it, France benefits from the disorder or lack of democracy in Togo.
True.
And it is important that democracy comes back. Once they allow that to happen, we are in a better place. Because even with democracy, people are being tyrannical. Even those of us who are in countries where we say, why aren't we fighting in this country? Yep. We are fighting the whole democratic process. We know what happened in 2020. People are shot and killed because of common counting. So it is not even as it is a perfect scenario, but it is better than what they are doing in Togo. Sure. So they should allow the democracy to go. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Uncle Alex. We're done with Togo. You know, Togo is just close to us, so it's important that we take a keen interest in what is happening in Togo, particularly because if there's any issue, we will suffer the brunt of that term. So clearly, yes, it's important that we touch on that. We've done that. We've dispatched that so beautifully. So I don't speak French. Dr. Mazouk does. I'm now learning. I have to now learn Je m'appelle, deux, trois, quatre. We'll get there. No. I'll do that in 2 years. You'll be surprised.
His Excellency, the President says he's committed to bilingual education.
Oh, my friend. You see, that is only if...
we are first committed to learning our local first.
Yeah.
I'm a victim of that. Learn your local first in the schools before you go to our
mother tongue. Very important. Very important.
Taught in it.
Because of where
That's one of our policies.
Because of where I was raised and brought up. Even speaking fancy, Charlie, it's not easy. I struggle. It's not easy.
Yes. And researchers have concluded that if you are well grounded in mother tongue, you can do well at the higher school.
That is true.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, there are some domestic issues that we must touch on, and this one is laughable, but clearly it's something that might interest all of you. Afejo Makin is saying that Barumia offers visionary leadership, and it's interesting. Let me just read a little bit of the story to bust your bubbles more. The majority leader of Parliament, Alexander unfortunately has your name, Alexander Afejo Makin, has stated that the Vice President and flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Mahamudu Bawumia, offers a better future for the country than former President John Dramani Mahama. He has therefore urged Ghanaians to remain resolute in their choice of Dr. Bawumia as the next president of Ghana. In a comparative analysis of the two political leaders at a press conference in Accra, Afenyomakin reasoned that Dr. Bawumia's eligibility for 8 years in office presents an opportunity for him to introduce medium to long-term policies that would benefit the country more than Mr. Mahama, who has been tested and failed in his delivery. Urgency to govern. The majority leader noted that Mr. Mahama would have only one term in office should he be elected to govern the country. He indicated that Mr. Mahama's new government would come with lots of challenges, key amongst them the lack of sense of urgency to govern. We know his track record. He is the same person with the same old people coming to tell us that they have something new to offer. Pereja thought, should the opportunity smile at him, he has only one term and there would be no sense of urgency. So from day one, that government will be in crisis because those party people will be struggling on who should be the next leader, he noted. So that is what Afenyomakin is saying. Let me start with you, Honorable Uncle Alex, because he is talking about your leader and your party. I struggle to fathom why we have political, some people like Afenyomakin consistently without fail make such comments about former President Mahama. Because technically, former President Mahama only had 4 years in office, technically. Now, if you want to put parity of former President John Dramani Mahama's 4 years in government with Akufo-Addo's 8 years in government, I think that is conclusive enough for everybody to draw his or her own final conclusion on who is a better leader and who is not. And if there is nothing at all for us to compare with, I think it is imperative that we look at what was used as the campaign trumpeter in 2016, which is the Dumso. And Mahama only had 4 years, suffered, in fact, 2016, you recall that he was in court for over a year. Subsequent to that,
That was 2013.
that was 2013.
20,
Oh, okay,
2013.
okay, God, so forgive me for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2016. So 2016 was, so Mahama wasn't president in 2016, correct? Yes. So before 2016, so the first 4 years, yes, so I'm right.
Yes, 4 years.
So the first 4 years he was in court for like a year, correct?
Yes, the first
then after
year.
that, the first year. Then after that, so he was not
9
able
months.
to constitute his government.
Yes.
So 1 year gone.
Yes.
Then he suffered doomso,
Yeah.
okay, for about 3 years.
Yes.
So technically, your man did not really get the opportunity and a clean environment to govern. Created as a problem created by the NPP, in my estimation. Now, despite all of that, in 4 years, the man did what he could. So, Afenyomakin is saying that you people, you are bringing the same old man to come and do what? Same old man, same old face, same old people, nothing new. Do you agree? Everything, God of mercy. So it was good to leave the party.
A fish that sees the grass on the land looking very nice and thinks that the grass in the water is the same grass. When he steps out of the water, you realize that it was his Armageddon. The two are very alike, but the environments are different. Bawumia is out of his depth at the moment. He stepped into an arena he should not have come at this time anyway. The arena is not his, because the environment has been so muddied with him as part of the helm that I don't know what informed the decision to allow Bawumia to even contest as the flag bearer for the NPP. It is actually bad politics, except you are looking for a stooge, somebody you can control. You want to remote control, somebody who you believe will hide all your sins, because there's no other justification for picking Bawumia, because he carries all your sins, he's part of the sin, and he's not marketable. And you are going to election where you know that actually 8 years is a problem in our politics, because even when you have done well, like Mahama did, people just assume, oh, look, we need a change. So at least put forward somebody who gives you a chance, which leaves you the only hope of winning as rigging. But if you go down the normal route, you cannot. You have lost in advance. Yet you are talking about you hand over power, whether we win or not. Whether somebody else win, you hand over power, which tells you the mindset of the people you are dealing with. They have given up on democracy. They are not interested in their voting matter. They are going to try and find alternative means. But Ghana is not Togo. That's all I have to say on this matter. We will not stomach it for 2 seconds. Everybody can see it. Doomsaw you are talking about. Somebody made it that we are good. Why? Everybody's generator is working, including yours.
I don't know if you have one.
I'm talking of the what's it called? Yeah. The studio.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Yes. My home. You have to put it on for 1 hour. Can you afford the fuel? I mean, what is this? And people are going around telling us that the arrogance of it. The arrogance of it.
That's what is upsetting.
You understand? You cannot. I mean, what are they thinking? We are all stupid? The place is a mess. You are saying that, oh, soon. What they told us, ECG came out and said that all the machines that this thing, they are fixed up. Why are people having seen? Go to Taifa. Every day, 12 hours on, 12 hours off.
Yeah. No, the same as my area.
Every day. There are many areas. And Accra is better than the rural areas or the regions. The regions are suffering this more than Accra. And you go and you move a whole plant for $35 million or $34 million and say you are going to rename it. You are renaming everything that you have never created before in your life. America is not yours, but you have renamed it. Universities that are not, you haven't put out, which is, they should tell us what university they have done. They should tell us. But you are renaming. I mean, what is wrong with MPP? Where did we lose our way as a people to tolerate this nonsense? Excuse me to say. Excuse my French. I withdraw. Why do we have to tolerate this? It's just, you can't even begin to see the head or tail of it. And you want to compare to Mahama? Look, where Mahama put his foot now, everybody can see it. As they say, Kavidi Kadochi, we can see it clear. There is absolutely no comparison between Nana Addo and Mahama. Then you are bringing Baumia. From where? We can see it clearly. And look at the way he's even talking now, as a statesman. The kind of jabs he should be jabbing you is jabbing you half. We the commentators are the one, but he's still doing statesmanship because he knows what he has to do when he comes. What is wrong with our people? And I asked the question, what has Muhammad done to it has become personal. So we should all suffer because of somebody's personal gripe against. Why? Didn't he hand over power? You have the power 8 years. He's contested. We've brought him back again. And you are saying that we have made. What mistake have we made? We are only looking at what you have done as opposed to what he did. We prefer his own. We prefer his own. We will bring him back. And Ghanaians are saying they are even making him a saint in terms of their performance against this. So, which give me one macroeconomic indicator which theirs record in terms of peak is better than ours. Give me one. Inflation, they peak 54. We were in teens. Exchange rate, we were at 3.9 something when we left. You are 13.5.
13.7. No, this one 14.7.
Okay, we will reach 14, don't worry.
But we didn't we go there?
Lending rate. Debt to GDP ratio. What's it called? Borrowing from Bank of Ghana. So you tell me one macroeconomic indicator.
But you know, the one thing,
as we are, that you have where your peak is and look at our peak and tell me whether you can compare to Mahama.
Yeah, and it's good you mentioned the debt to GDP because at the time when you were leaving office, it was around 73.3%.
We got to 104.
No, the difference is that they had the opportunity of rebasing.
Yeah.
So it came down to 59% because of the rebasing.
And they've moved to
then
104.
you moved it to
They took us to
76%.
And at one point, when they did the IMF first came, we were at 104% debt to GDP ratio, or thereabout, just over 100%. So they have no, look, there is no indicator. What's it called? Unemployment rates. Their unemployment rate is worse than anybody's. So what is it that you have come to tell? What is your message? What is your message that you are giving us? That what have you done that you are come to tell us? And you are my namesake is comparing Mahama to. I will tell him to remove the Alexander. He should just say Alex and let me take the Alexander. You understand? He's my brother. It's wrong. There's no comparison whatsoever. But he has to say that.
No.
He's majority leader. So he has to say it. So that's where we are.
Thank you, Alex. Uncle Alex, for your submission. Now, there's one particular quote from Afenyomake's submission which I find very interesting, and there's a twist to it, if I may. So, quote, so from day one, that government will be in crisis, referring to the NDC. So, from day one, that government will be in crisis because those party people will be struggling on who should be the next leader, unquote, he noted. I think rather, this is a different assertion, that government will be in crisis because of the mess which has been created, not because they will be struggling to choose the next person to lead the country. Because political parties are not built on the stills of personalities. Political parties are built on the still of communism and having, what's it called, aspirations that aligns with the party's ideologies. And that's why people belong to political parties, not because of individuals. So if former President John Dramani Mahama were to exit today, it is the party that has to decide on who should represent the party for the next election. That wouldn't be former President Mahama's headache, would it? So he would have the benefit of governance, while the party would have the headache of deciding who represents the party going forward into 2028. So that, in my estimation, assertion is null and void. So, do you disagree?
You are right. The truth of the matter is that you discuss the MPP and what Afenyomakin says in the context of the Ejapadie book. Then you draw it down before you move into why he would say that he is one of those that was used to perpetuate crime in the MPP, and so he has every right to be making some of these toddlers thinking. You understand? First of all, you are a lawyer, and you know your Article 66 tells you that every president has one term. You understand? So this business of when he comes, he has one term. Which president is sworn in and given 2 terms at a go? So clearly, this is kindergarten thinking. In any case, if the MPP were to come, in an unlikely event they were to come to power today, is it not the same old faces? Who else would they be appointing? He was used to do a coup d'etat against his own mentor, Chairman Zabosu. So he has to say some of these things. Instead of concentrating on the level of hardship that this government has unleashed onto the people of this country. See what he's talking about. Infantile politics. This is called university first year politics that he's doing. He has to rise to the occasion. I remember the last time he was talking about the age of the running mate and that she's that old. I said, what kind of life is this? That position, the majority leader position, has been occupied by people of valor, people with credibility, candor. And so if you have got the opportunity to occupy that position, don't come and mess it up. Interestingly, he lives around, so I wish he would just switch off his or come to the studio and we all do this banter here, one-on-one, and then we go away. You understand? He's one of the reasons why when you give the young ones the chance, people say, let's give the youth the chance, I sometimes disagree. Because when they are given the opportunity, they come and mess up. Under the Ejapadie book, I'm reading a paragraph for you to know the thinking of these people. You say, although the Asante group within their current NDP is gearing up itself to take over the party after Nana's tenure in 2024, it would be ideal if we could work to bypass them in 2024. With hard work, we could work to pass the mantle over to a non-account person preferably from the north, under whose presidency we could secure the maturity of our takeover project. So Afenyo doesn't know that he's part of the project. They are being used as non-accounts in the party to protect non-Ashanti. Fantastic. Thanks for the to protect what few cabals have stolen from the state. And so when he was given the position of majority leader, he thought it's out of a dint of hard work. No, it's not about dint of hard work.
It's a pawn in the chess.
It's a pawn in the chess that you have to let bring you together as being part of the whole project, but rather you are protecting the loot of few people. Look, after 32 years, the NPP and NDC, they have no business being in government. Take it from me. But you see, it would have been an easy task for the NDC if the battle was between them and the NPP. Sitting here, but for the fact that Alan was in there, I would have voted for John Mahama. I'm telling you, I would have voted for John Mahama. Because you see, you cannot convince the ordinary Ghanaian, not even my mother in the village, that this current shape of the MPP, while we have been told by the chairman of the Ashanti region, MPP,
want to be
that
Ecowas.
No, apart from that,
okay.
Only yesterday, he says, he got up at 10 a.m. because of the Joso by-election, called the vice president that the way things are going on in the Joso, if you don't construct your rules, it will be difficult. So he went to the vice president. The vice president called the minister of roads and highways that, hey, you have to award contracts. So at 2 a.m., the minister of roads and highways also called the finance minister. So at 2 a.m., they awarded contracts. They don't even have regard for our procurement law. See the way they are doing to Ghana. They award contracts at 2 a.m. in their offices without regard to any procurement laws in this country. And this is the leader you are telling us that he can come and do anything meaningful in this country? As we speak, he was elected 4th November 2023. Even selection of his running mate is a problem. Confused flag bearer.
Yeah, he can't decide. That's true.
He can't. And so, for you to come and tell us that your reason for saying that John Mahama should not come, though he will not come because Alan Chamante is coming, obviously. And the reason why he shouldn't come is that when he comes, he has a 4-year term. That is unfortunate. And that when he comes, he's going to appoint the same old. If it was not appointment of the same old people, would he Afenyo had gotten the opportunity to be the majority leader? So it doesn't wash. And like Honorable was saying, in terms of every indicator, this government have shown that indeed they have no mettle in governing this country. And you made a point, and people discount it. And I'm not the one to be doing the NDC's bidding for them. Look, the impact of that close to 1 year Supreme Court case.
So NDC doesn't break it down.
Look,
they don't break it down.
See, sometimes there was a time I took my time to watch John Mahama's last speech to Parliament. That was about 2 months. I said, let me do some research. And look, I felt for him because the propaganda in the airwaves, I was part of it, because I felt that the way and manner the elections went was also not good. So everything came to a standstill, to a halt.
1 year.
Look, to the extent that every morning, people that did not, a lot of the things that were going on in court, how many Ghanaians understood it? Yeah. But people had gathered on their television
sets,
watching it. So at that point, if you were the president, and you cannot deliver as a president when you are not carrying the entire country along.
They're back.
So 1 year, the man was subjected to this inhumane treatment led by a lawyer, Nana Akufo-Addo.
Selfish being.
A selfish being.
Yeah, very selfish.
After that, when the Supreme Court pronounced on it, that even became worse. So the man was sitting, occupying the position, but in reality, he didn't have control. Yeah. Whatever he said, half of the country didn't respect it. So whatever he was doing then, and I mean, with the benefit of hindsight, sometimes you have to be a man enough and say what we did in the past was wrong. I mean, recently and that is why I was so disappointed when John Mahama decided to go to court. Sometimes vengeance is mine. The man already is not going to perform. Why do you go to court for him to look? Seem like he's going to do anything serious. You understand? That I was taken to court. One day he will come and tell us that because he was taken to court, that is why he couldn't perform. But John Mahama was not treated well. In the same way as Professor John Evans Atamios. You remember the community? At a point, we had a radio station.
Yeah.
The man was speaking and he made a mistake with economy or something. Yeah. It became a song. But democracy, as we are moving forward, we learn from some of these things.
The problem, let me just get, we don't have many issues. So you people were able to take one and spend 6 months on it. We can't keep up with MPP now. Every week something new.
No, but ask for MPP school. That's what the day
of the day. Every day, week something new.
Yeah.
Which one do you push?
One day, one issue. One day, one issue. So, Kwame, it is. Look, the man was criticized for doing so. Is that okay? Yes. It became a major issue in this country.
Yes. It was actually the main issue.
The main issue.
Yeah.
All of us suffered. Yeah. But at the end of the day, was he able to do something meaningful?
Yes.
That is how you judge a person. Because believe you me, all of us are paying tax. This business of president here and there, it is our taxes that he used. How well did he use the tax to solve the very problem that he came to meet? He solved it. Now we are experiencing the same problem. Something that we used to campaign against him, you sat back, you saw all that happen, you have come, you are repeating it. Between the two of you, you are worse off.
True.
And you have Baumia, who is the lead architect in this, saying he's going to break the... You think leading the country is a joke? Look, the streets are boiling up. Kwame, every day fuel prices are going up. Well, what is this? So if government is all about passing on to the Ghanaian, then why must there be a government in the first place? I was telling you this morning about Egeso Biles. Go and see how much they have voted to go and spend, go and buy the conscience of the people in Egeso. When the people say they will take a vote against them. Because they know the hardships they are going through. They know it. And so, as for Afenyo, we can pardon him. But what I can advise him is that he has moved from being a mere or a common MP to a majority leader, whom I understand is also eyeing the presidency, because in this country everybody eyes presidency by heart. So if he wants to really eye the presidency, he must be serious in his thoughts, because he's dealing with serious-minded people in this country.
Thank you very much, Solo. I think, again, and Dr. Mazouk, maybe you may want to touch on that in your submission, that people think, and also to the NDC as well, people, they think that the 2024, 2025, 2026 going into the future politics is the same as 1992. It's not the same. Things have changed. So the strategy that you used in winning elections in 1992 cannot at all find expression in a strategy that you can use to win 2024 elections. Now is technology, more IT, more technology, more IT, more communication.
More stealing.
And no, not necessarily. I mean, of course, but it is important. You see, and one of the problems that, in my estimation, the NDC faced was their inability to accurately put out information about the things that they were doing and where they were in terms of development and infrastructural or capital expenditure, right? So the impression was created. A big lacuna was created because when you don't speak up, you leave a lacuna and you allow people to fill the space and put out their own assertions, whether true or not. So clearly that was the case in the NDC's in Mohammed's administration. Similarly, their inability to clearly point out to the Ghanaian people the devastating or negative effect of the 1 year that they suffered in court, for me, is also a communication deficit. And the fact that consistently without fail, the MPP found a way of making them look unpopular, so thereby derailing them from their trajectory of of development or implementing their policies. So maybe in your analysis, you may want to briefly spread the tentacles into these areas and see if you can bring some clarity on these matters, respectfully.
Thank you. In the first place, I was surprised. I understand why we are surprised. Alfredo Markin is a politician, and whatever he has said is a political talk. Unfortunately for him, in democratic politics, political discourse is not about the content, but about the logic. It is not about the structure, but about the veracity. So he has spoken. It is within his democratic right to speak. But you have mentioned something. In fact, you read my mind, because even if you hadn't raised it, I would have mentioned that the sophistication of Ghanaian in relation to the understanding of the dynamics of democratic governance in this country. Look, you can no longer take anybody for granted.
True.
Even the performance of this parliament, the parliament that was highly expected to save Ghanaians from the foundation of constitutional tyranny. I'm using foundation because we have just built the foundation. We haven't yet gone there in comparative terms. From the foundation of constitutional tyranny, I mean, this parliament, look at how it has performed. So all these things are lessons for Ghanaians, and they have contributed to the sophistication of the understanding of democratic politics in this country. So whatever Alfredo Markin says can be thrown to the dustbin of miscalculation in political discourse. But in reality, we know what we are talking about. About his utterances remind me of a term in logical thinking and critical thinking in academic writing: faulty analogy. Faulty, because his comparison here is faulty. It is faulty to compare John Mahama to the vice president by their positions. You are comparing the vice president, who has openly declared that he shouldn't be held responsible for anything in this government, to somebody who cannot run away from that responsibility. That alone is faulty. Why can't he compare former President John Mahama to the current President Nana Akufo-Addo in terms of performance? Why is he comparing the Vice President to John Mahama? Well, he will say, I know his answer. His answer will be, oh, both of them are presidential candidates. I'm aware of that. But if both of them are presidential candidates, are you judging them by their past, by their performance? And in a situation where one says that he shouldn't be held responsible for whatever the government has done, another owns it up, another cannot even tell us this. So the comparison itself is faulty. But beyond that, Kwame, we are not stupid people. Pardon my words. I mean, with all due respect, we are intelligent. With all humility, we are very intelligent. Look, the Ghanaian does not mind. In the first place, let me say that both of them are gentlemen. And of course, personally, both of them are my elder brothers. So, but Ghanaians will look beyond that. Will look beyond the words of Alfredo Markin. Will look beyond both of them as gentlemen. Will look beyond both of them as brothers coming from the same part of the country. Ghanaians will want to know which political party associated with any of them performed better than the other. Now, I'm not an economist, so I'm not going to use economic terms. And whatever economic terms the economists are using should be translated into reality.
Common sense.
Common sense. I am a consumer.
Yes.
I paid electricity in Mahama regime. I am paying electricity in this regime. What I paid was better than what I am paying today. I'm speaking for myself, and I know millions of Ghanaians who speak for themselves.
You are paying and there's no lights. You
see, I bought food for myself and for my family. I did that yesterday. I am doing it today. And I know that today it is more difficult for me to do than it was for me to do yesterday. I can be described as an international trotler. Yes, because I am a lover of global junketing. And I travel a lot, extensively. I go to America, I go to London, I go to Europe, I go to any other continent. I spend dollar. I did that in John Mohammed's regime. I spent dollar in John Mohammed's regime. And a new dollar CD rate. I am doing it today. And I can tell you that it is more difficult today than it was yesterday. I was told that the dollar CD rate will be non-existent. I mean, it will be brought, that issue, yes, come to power. And that the dollar will be arrested, locked, and then the key will be given to the IGP. And unfortunately enough, we have a very strong IGP, yes, under whom any key can be described as secure. Yet, what I changed as maybe 60 is now double, almost double, or more than double of what I am changing. So I'm only saying these things because at the end of the day, it is not Bawumia, it is not Mahama, it is the economic conditions of this country that will determine. That's exactly what I am saying. So I wish both of them well in their endeavors, but each of them should know, and minus Afeni Markin's utterances, each of them should know that Ghanaians will judge them based on the performance of their governments and not based on the utterances, which are largely illogical, by Afeni Markins. So if the MPP wants to win, it must do everything possible to convince Ghanaians that it has satisfied the aspirations of Ghanaians. If NDC wants to win, it must do everything possible to convince Ghanaians that when it comes back, it will perform better than it did yesterday. So, my brother, I don't think we should even be disturbed by these irresponsible utterances. I strongly believe, those utterances could have been made without insult.
Sure.
Right. I mean, without insult. And sometimes when we attack old age, it becomes very laughable. Any attack on old age is an attack on experience,
Sure.
which is critical to delivery in every aspect of human life.
Very well indeed.
So at the end of the day, I leave it to the judgment of Ghanaians. I know what will influence me, economic conditions in this country, and I strongly believe that those conditions will largely influence the votes of Ghanaians. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Marzouk. You're still watching the News Power Review segment here on Pan-African Television. My name is Kwame Owusu Danso, and let me remind you that we are streaming live on Facebook, facebook.com/Pan-African, also on YouTube. So for those of you watching us online, you can leave your messages or your comments underneath the live stream. We'll be more than willing to read them out here for you. Also, you can send us a text via WhatsApp number 055-991-9802. Join the conversation, share with us what your thoughts are, and let's contribute to the development of Ghana. Now, we have dispatched again beautifully the issue in relation to Afeni Markin's comparison or comparative analysis between John Dramani Mahama and Dr. Bawumia. Now, let's come back to the big elephant in the room, which is Dumso. And I have opined unequivocally that I do not like the way voices of conscience, opposition parties have been silent on the issue of Dumso. And I say silent, first of all, advisedly, and also strategically. Because if you look at political communication, one of the key things of political communication is to identify your message. In fact, identifying the problem is one of the fundamental things that you need to. And then when you identify the problem, then you look at your audience. Then you carve out a message out of the problem that you've identified. That's precisely what the MPP did before 2016. That they noticed that Ghanaians were upset with John Dramani Mahama, not necessarily because of how he handled the economy, but the way he handled the energy sector, i.e. the issue of power distribution. And so they used that as a springboard to carve out a message which resonated with the Ghanaian people and ultimately derived some huge political capital out of that, which in my estimation saw them in power in 2017. So clearly, once you identify that there's a problem and the Ghanaian people are up in arms, they are not happy about it, you leverage on that, you jump on that, and then you use that to your advantage. I think that the NDC perhaps is weighing its options primarily by reason of the fact that they, in their time, also experienced the doom, so they don't know how to couch this maybe narrative to their advantage. But I find that troubling because you can couch it in a manner that will depart from the earlier assumptions that people may have had with your administration. So you guys need to reconsider it. That brings me to my next topic, the issue of Dumso. And the fact that today we have been told that they are making all attempts and all efforts to ensure that power is restored. In Ghana, the issues in relation to Dumso, okay, now I can say Dumso because even Google can define Dumso, so it's either that you have generational deficit, so in terms of power generation deficit, that, because we rely on hydro, that you don't have enough rainfall, that you do not have fuel to power your thermal plants, that you do not have money. I can confidently say that 3 out of the 4 have been dealt with. Oh, actually, well, so because one leads into the other, so no, not necessarily. So we can say that in terms of generation, there's no deficit because Mahama says that he had cured that. And for what we know, it appears that that is the case. So then I'm staying with you. Now we are unable to power the thermal plants that we have. We are interested in taking Ameri to Kumasi and renaming it and spending $350 million on just the transportation alone.
35 million.
Oh, 35 million, sorry, $35 million. Yeah. On that alone, right? As opposed to finding a lasting solution to this current doomsday crisis that we are facing, right? From where you sit, and given the fact that you were part of the MPP administration that took the NDC to the cleaners when we were faced with doomsday,
Sure.
how would you describe the current situation and the conduct of this particular administration in relation to that matter? I don't know if my semantics have improved.
Kwame, the truth of the matter is that people in public positions do not know what it means to hold public office. I mean, one of the key attributes of a public officer is to be truthful to the public at all times. The Minister of Energy, the ECG boss, Greco and all those in the supply chain are not being truthful to us. Our problem has to do with lack of funds. We don't have money.
Simplicity.
Because it is money that you use to buy crude to power these plants. It is an established fact that you rightly put out that we have enough installed capacity in excess of 5,000. And so if you have the money to buy the crude, then what is the point? And that is why the government is not coming out with any load shedding because they know the problem. They know that it's not about what do you call it, transformers that they are repairing. It's not true. It's not about any machines that have gotten spoiled somewhere. Get the money, buy the crude, and power it, and the light will be on. So the stronghold of the MPP makes the noise, which is Ashanti region. And rightly so, if you've been to Kumasi recently, you would understand the enormity of the problem. Every day, people are sleeping in darkness in Kumasi. It's so sad. Businesses are collapsing by the minute, especially this hospitality industry, the hoteliers. Already, they are not having people to occupy their facilities that much. And they are having to also incur the cost of buying crude. And this is what I call double jeopardy. Even if the crude was that cheap, individuals with their own plants could power it. As we speak, diesel is around 14.88. Is that not the case? Remember how we made noise about the fact that John Mahama and Professor Bells took it from 4 cedi per gallon to 16 or 14 cedis per gallon.
Yeah.
Now a liter is going for 14.88. So if you multiply 14.88 by 4.5, you are in the region of 70 cedis a gallon. And that is where the problem is. Now when the Ameri plant was also taken to Kumasi, the utterances from the minister is what even freaked the entire nation. That, first of all, the plant has been moved there so that the people of Ashanti will vote massively for Nana Addo's Nana People's Party. And the minister said it. I have been saying that the party is not New Patriotic Party, but Nana People's Party. He said it. Go and play his voice. Now you know Nana has Nana's party. He said, you know what? You have to, as the honor Nanado for bringing the plan to Kumasi, so that when during election you go and vote for Nanado's party. That is Nana People's Party.
Yeah.
Now when the fire caught up with you to speak the truth, that is no more the New Patriotic Party. So when you see some of us out of the party coming, it's not for mischievous reasons, oh, because I signed on to the New Patriotic Party and not Nana People's Party. If it were to be Nana People's Party, whose vision manifesto is all about the Japanese document, where individuals come to power, that instead of thinking positive about the state, bringing vision plan that would alleviate poverty, they are thinking about how to steal the resources of the country. I will not be part of the situation. So it is so frustrating, but the point is that would the NDC be able to cash on it? The answer is an emphatic no. Because the value is the same. And that is why the Ghanaian will never be forgiven in election 2024 should they make the mistake of bypassing Alan John Kojo Chamate. Kwame. See, the Ameri plant was in Takrady. Is that not the case?
Indeed.
You know the reason? Because it's very close to the gas pipeline.
Absolutely.
These people are even causing financial loss to the state. The distance between Atuabo, or even if you like, Pristia to Takrady, is much shorter than the distance from Atuabo to Kumasi. What it means is that you now have to construct a transmission line that will be transmitting your gas or crude to Kumasi at an extra cost. All because you think the people of Ashanti region are so dumb, as Napo in time past said, that all that the people of Ashanti region needed was a t-shirt. And so let's just send something there to represent something, so that they will be coerced in voting for the New Patriotic Party. The Ameri plant is in Kumasi. Yesterday, the entire Kumasi was in darkness. Still, the plant is there. 35 million cedis are gone. If this plant was still in Takrady, we could have used the $35 million that was used in relocation to be buying crude. Now, to make matters worse, the ECG boss, you see what I say, the young men, when they are given positions, You say youth. It's not every youth that is sensible. He says electricity is a privilege, not a right. So he has even gotten it wrong. Last Friday, I slept in the dark. I mean, I have never experienced terrible.
Yeah, it's hot. It's actually, yeah.
So at a point, I looked at my daughters and I couldn't help it. So my elder daughter, around 10:30, 11, woke up and asked me, Dad, fortunately she has traveled outside before. What is it that where we went, I don't want to mention it. I never experienced this. But in our country, what is so special about them that we cannot do? She asked me this simple question. Immediately she said, you know what, let's go and sit in the car. So I had to take all of them into my car, put on the air conditioning in the car. And you can imagine. What wrong have we done by giving? Look, you came to take a debt, 120 billion. It's 2017. Now about 700 billion. What is the money? You give the money to your friends, Felicia Tete in the northern region during COVID. Comes to tell us that, oh, COVID, she was giving 100,000 cities. The young guys in this administration, I was happy. Honorable referred to Sedna's issue.
Yeah, it's good.
It's a very good, it's a welcoming development. That 93 million Ghana cedis leads to 10 years incarceration.
The more than 93
so
will be 50 years.
Your work is cut out. 58 million dollars has been sunk into a hole, National Cathedral.
Yeah.
So all those that two parts. And here, make no mistake, no pastor must be running away from this together with the government.
Oh, you're also forgetting PDS.
I'm coming there.
Sorry.
You think it's PDS alone? Look, recently we organized Africa, all Africa games here. Then what? Ghana went to Ivory Coast, Africa Cup of Nations. Go and take the what? Yeah. Go to where the stadium is, the new one, Boteman. All the lands there are supposed to be for government. They have sold it, they have shared it. And the good thing is that, you can't run away with land.
They did it.
They have shared it. And the sad aspect is that land earmarked for clinic. They have sold it. This is so pathetic, and that is why I'm calling on all progressive forces, people of conscience and reason, to begin to rise up. Don't let us put this whole burden on only politicians, the few ones, because I can tell you that a lot of the politicians are even compromised. Because the only reason this government can have the balls to be misbehaving and doing things the way with impunity is that they know their back is covered from the other side. But the movement for change, you can never cover our backs with this. No. You would explain. Someone stole plantain, he's in Zawon for 13 years. Someone stole yam, he's in Zawon for 30 years. Someone stole yam phone, he's in Zawon. What makes you think that you stealing a lot of money? Now people do parties with impunity. Go and check the party, young men who never had Pesua in this country. Now, as a result of their behavior, money is meant for the energy sector. We are in darkness, and you think they'll go scot-free? We put in place cash waterfall mechanism.
Yep, that has been a disaster.
Go and check.
Disaster.
And Kwame, we have people in
and I mean, Adam is still talking.
Oh, why must he talk? As for him, when he was with ASEP. They brought that ASEP. So ASEP, when they are talking, I look at them and laugh. When MPP was in opposition, ASEP was being manned by Aminata and Amewu. They brought ASEP.
Africa Center for Energy Policy. Say it well.
Africa Center for Energy Policy.
Yeah.
And they were giving it to the government, hot. We are giving the position. Yesterday, you see, they are wicked. They do press conferences on Sundays. Quietly, they'll go and sit somewhere and say, so Kwame, the energy situation explains why we have unemployment of 14.47%, and that the Ghanaian must vote for a government that is forward-looking. Yeah. And that is why I always say, do not choose anyone apart from Alan to come and shape the destiny. ARC. But I still with the movement for change, and the butterfly is the symbol. Okay. We are moving forward with alacrity.
Dr. Marzouk, yeah. let's come to you. It says the efforts underway to ensure Ghanaians have uninterrupted power supply.
So that is an admission. Yeah, and I'm saying that is an admission of doom so.
Yeah.
Perhaps in a diplomatic way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, because if you are talking of efforts to ensure that we have uninterrupted power supply, it tells us that currently we do not have uninterrupted power supply. We have interrupted power supply. So I think that is good. That's good enough. But we need to interrogate those efforts. I believe that whoever is saying this would have helped us better if he had mentioned specifically those efforts. Because we do not want to believe that they are also mere political words, mere talks. We want to ensure that whoever is saying that is serious, and that the efforts mentioned are serious, that the government is serious, the institutions responsible for the power supply are serious, the managers of those institutions are serious. But if we do not know all these things, and then we'll just classify whatever has been said as a mere political rhetoric, which cannot help this country. I don't want to talk much about it because it is self-explanatory. And the self-explanation here is that it is deceptive, not realistic. Thank you.
Dr. Baruch, Mungoni. Let's show you that you have played.
Actually, not that much.
Okay.
I'm very disappointed in the government and the, you know, it gets to a point where you just speak the truth. Sure. You know, you can spin up to a point. If you knew that some 1 million was coming from somewhere that you were going to buy fuel and quickly turn over, and you are spinning, we have gone past that stage. Oh. We have gone past that stage. The thing is getting worse. It's not getting better. And so what you need to do is give us a timetable. You must say that this side you get it this time. Look, I was saddened when I was listening to that guy who said that all his fish in the ghost store had gone. Yes. And therefore he left and went to Kumasi to join the demonstration.
Yeah.
Because all his fish in the cold store was destroyed. He has imported it. And the cold store didn't have power. And so the fish has gone rotten.
Yeah.
You see, the damage they have caused without a timetable is because, you see, when they know that you put lights on, when they close the freezer, don't open it till you put it back on. It helps a bit. Because the opening, that little cold air that to come out, it can create problem for you. So if you know that for the next 6 hours I'm not getting electricity, when you close your freezer, you don't open it. And hope that it doesn't stay too long. And when it kicks in again, you wait for a certain number of hours when it freezes before you open. You won't tell us when you are going to put on and off. I mean, why? And you have the temerity to tell us that if we feel we should go and do our own timetable. I mean, what is this? We should go and do our own timetable, and the thing is not getting worse. And ECG come and tell us that it is actually transformers or whatever, and you say that you have fixed them, and the doom so is, and it is now worse. Why? Why do we deserve this? Look, the man who you are insulting, who came and made doom so, didn't even say that it's not my fault, so give me time. He said, I will fix it.
The power minister resigned.
He never said, oh, this. He said, I will fix it. He didn't put blame on this person's lap. Listen, I'm the president, I'm in charge, I will fix it. Even that fix it cry, you wanted to take credit for it. For the first 2 years of Nana's government, they never accepted that John Mahama had fixed himself before he left. It was majority leader, and I doff my hat to him, Chairman Sabosu, who came out and said, look, actually, Mahama fixed it. Then Bawumia himself came out and said that we don't have to give him credit for something that he's supposed to do. Therefore implying that, what's it called? He had fixed it.
Bawumia to do so.
You wonder.
Bawumia to do
So you see, when they are saying that MPP and NDC are the same, I don't understand it all. Even to admit that we have a problem, you can't. And you said that NPP is the same as NDC. When we didn't even complain about who brought the team, we said, we are government, we will fix it. It cost us an election. With all that was going on, he was still able to put Terminal 3 up. We were able to finish UGMC. Yes. Because the monies that had been allocated for those things went into those things. We didn't divert it to go and prepare an Ajapa document.
Or build
to
build a palace.
A whole.
A palace.
A palace, eh? Yes.
They built a
you
palace.
Understand?
Nice palace. So long have you been there? The palace.
Yes. You didn't divert any money. It was what the money is for. It was used for. And when in the middle of doom, so we're able to do all these things. What is your excuse? With how much money did we borrow? And you have borrowed more than 3-4 times the money that we had. And you had oil revenue from 2 oil wells. We had from 3. We had 1 oil well. Even that, one of the valves was not working properly. We fixed it about 4 or 5 months into the time when we were leaving office. Then when you came, you got another 2 to add. And then you borrowed more money, and you were still getting grants and things from people. You had a Bank of Ghana that hadn't borrowed any money from. You have been able to.
They are printing money.
You have collateralized Get Fund money. The money for Get Fund. You are going to collateralize it. Collateralize this. Take money on it. Chop the money with your hands and your feet and everything.
Then you take
and then you tell us
bond owners.
You can't
bond holders.
You can't
pay their money. You say you pay them.
And then you tell us that we should come and do our own timetable. We should do our own timetable for Doomso. I mean, why?
There was no COVID.
There was no COVID.
There was no Ukraine, Russia, and even Hamas, Gaza.
Are people aware that Ebola? Are people aware that Ebola passed through our time? It didn't. We were able to put structures in place, and we thank God because especially God's hand.
No, you don't understand. You don't understand the sarcasm. You don't understand Dr. Mazu's sarcasm.
You see, the way you're doing, if you don't take it, these people will introduce what you call
Ebola was epidemic pandemic.
Recovery levy.
Because of the train that has been. Yes.
We introduce train recovery levy. This one.
Let me read a few messages here on the show. Good morning to you. My name is Ewuntoma Muniru from Salagan South. Thanks KOD and your panelists, especially Dr. Marazuk. The truth must be told in the face of our leaders this time. Our leaders should not change after getting their leadership. You've left your number, I don't know what for.
Thank you.
Nusco Nkpa Enterprise.
Give it to me.
Thank you very much. This one says, good morning to you. I'm very pleased with the presentation of Honorable Alexis, my role model. May God bless Honorable, God bless for African Television, Hassan Saini in Tamale Central. Good morning to you, KOD. Good morning to you, my boss lawyer, Alex Sebufia, and the entire crew. The MEP had a long-term strategy, which is to win elections and make the NDC, as well as the other parties, irrelevant. They created the problems for NDC using their cronies in the system and came out to pontificate that they have the solution to the problems they have unpatriotically created, and Ghanaians bought into it. They did the same to Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, J.J. Rawlings, Professor Mills, and John Mahama. Posterity will judge them. Comrade Nuruddin Kobina Issa, Cape Coast. Thank you. KOD, Mahama solved Doomso. Just buy fuel to operate the machines. You couldn't. Imagine what would have happened if they were in power between 2013 and 2016. The solution is to send pastors to pray for miracles. From Ima. Thank you, Ima, for your message. If Nanado and Bawumia care so much about Shantis, why then would they not install a new plant in Kumasi, but rather send their machine that has been used for almost 10 years, which Ghanaians will call surplus? MPP is making a mockery of Ashantis, and sadly enough, some Ashantis are celebrating. Brother, you're more here put away in the so no, I enjoy listening to you anytime you're on Pan-African Television. You're marvelous. Wish you were an NDC communicator. Sammy from Adenta sent in this one.
What did you say?
He said he wishes you were an NDC communicator.
Business must not be. I'm here.
Oh, the guy just
He didn't say, he just said he wish you were.
He wish you were. KOD, you see, some young, but somebody is criticizing you. Listen, some places like Solo are the problem of this country.
Fantastic.
As they cannot accept the approximate truth just because of partisan politics. Isn't it interesting that today Solo is quoting from the Said Ajapadiye book as if he has just become aware of it? Solo again is saying that because GM failed as president, he and the MPP have no business craving for political power going into the election in 2024. But Solo has forgotten that when Alan launched his movement, he said that it was an opportunity for the MPP to participate in future unity government.
But that's true. What is unity government?
What does that mean?
What is unity government? Unity government is taking some from NDC, MPP, the good ones. You cannot say that all of them.
Lawyer KOD, ask Solo, are they in bed with the MPP? Are they in bed with the MPP for being quiet about the missing BVDs? No.
We are the ones fighting.
Movement is really fighting
it.
I asked the question because the smaller parties seem not to be serious in this country, but they want to rule. Omar, thank you for your message this morning. Kwame, everything points to the expectation that the NDC is taking over. However, the problem, agitating me is their inability to assure and convince angry people immediate measures they will take to bring down the unbearable high cost, etc., etc. No be small matter. Charlie, immediate measures in the because anyway, let me read some messages. Somebody says he needs Solo's number. My name is Raymond. KOD. Good morning, KOD. My name is Raymond. Please, I need your number. Something happened to me at the passport office here in Tamale, and I will need your guidance.
I'm taking his money.
Peter says he needs Solo's number. Good morning to KOD. In fact, opposition party is not doing well. To let the people in Ghana understand that it was Doomso MPP used to campaign in 2016 election. Yes. And now we are experiencing the same problem. Yeah. And have you seen or heard an opposition party organize a demonstration for saying in Tamale?
The demonstration is talking about.
Okay. I completely agree with you, KOD. In 2016, the MPP was very critical of the National Democratic Congress. However, we are not seeing the same level of criticism from the NDC towards the this government, which is perceived as incompetent, hopeless, corrupt, and useless. The NDC is only complaining, but not taking any concrete action to put pressure on the government to live up to expectations. Thomas Baden, good morning to you. Guys, I love your show. My regards to Solomon. He is my classmate, new in Suta DHS, whose student 1994 greets you. Okay, very well. On that note, a big thank you to Uncle Alex for your time this morning. Thank you to Solo for your time this morning, and thank you, Dr. Marazuk, for your time this morning. But a big thank you to our viewers. We appreciate you so much for spending your mornings with us. My name is Kwame Usudan. So, you know you can call me Champion KOD. Orokotopino or Bofa Dadefa. Half stone, half rock. Hey, half rock, half metal. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.